Hi, my name is Gauri and I work as a legislative assistant to a member of parliament.
I'm Pankhuri.
I am Ishita Saraswat.
I am Akshay Bhate.
I'm Manvi Rathod. I'm a LAM fellow.
This year, we got a chance to be part of the ASER survey and see the whole process on ground.
I was assigned the Mewat district in Haryana. It was an enriching experience.
Now, while I think most of us in the policy space or even outside it have read about the ASER survey, I had the great opportunity to observe it up close and personal this year.
I also came across ASER data and findings in government reports by Niti Aayog and also ASER findings in the reports by international organizations like UNESCO, UNICEF, World Bank and so on.
I think right off the bat I have to mention what a holistic and wholesome learning experience this has been for me. Starting with the training process, it was amazing to see the kind of painstaking effort that the ASER trainers took in informing surveyors about every single nitty-gritty of the survey process and the kind of detail-oriented attitude they had.
We got an exposure that I don't think we get to have while sitting here in our offices.
The good thing is that ASER is the citizen-led survey, right? So when these coordinators who belong from these villages only, they build connection with the household. So even the families, they feel safe when they're sharing the information. I think that citizen-led thing and surveys being conducted by someone local is a great thing that ASER is considering.
An interesting thing about the ASER survey was the methodologies used in survey was the random sampling, which tries to cover each and every corner of village.
In the survey also, apart from findings of village and children, there are multiple other correlated variables that are being involved and taken into consideration. For example, what are the education levels of their parents, whether they get newspapers in the house. So there are many things that are being asked during the survey. I remember when we were conducting surveys of the parents and taking tests of the children, everyone in the family was excited, right? Like their grandparents, their parents, their siblings and people from other houses also came to just see what is happening. So it was more like a festival that was there because everyone was around and they were just very happy and very enthusiastic and were giving their input. So I really liked that. One major thing also stood out for me, an incident that we went during the rainy season and it was village, there were no proper roads. So we really juggled and struggled when it comes to walking. It was very difficult terrain and it was difficult to even walk. It was raining throughout. But I could still see, the enthusiasm with which those coordinators were working. It just pushed us to complete the survey and not take the break.
While the learning levels were evidently very low, what was really interesting and what stood out was that the kids that did do well on the test that was administered, they were all young girls. They were the ones who could read the English section. They were the ones that could read Hindi. They did math really well. And that made me really happy to see young girls doing well and being excited to study and learn.
But I think the key takeaways for me from this experience has been, one, the kind of effort that it takes to conduct sound field-driven research, and two, what kind of transformative action can you take from this research. And I think that's where people who are working in the policy space come in.
It also is extremely important to question the government through the data that is generated from this survey as to what steps are being taken to ensure that the learning levels increase, the learning outcomes increase.
Finally, actually getting to interact with children was perhaps the highlight of my experience. Of course, it was a little unsettling to come to terms with the kind of impact the pandemic has had on children and their education and the learning loss that we've been hearing about.
It's not just the student, it's not just the teacher, or it's not just the schooling system, but overall the whole of social economic factors that mostly as a survey also considered in the survey are the problem and are the solution. That's where we can contribute in terms of education.
I now understand what it goes behind making an ASER report. And I think in the end, I would just like to say hats off to the entire ASER team for taking on this mammoth exercise year upon year and informing not just policymakers but citizens alike about the state of education in the country. So thank you.